So welcome. Today I'm going to speak on nurturing product talent and how hard that is on the continent. Actually, it's hard everywhere, but it's hard on the continent. Welcome, everyone. And part of that nurturing of the talent is finding and developing that talent. That's what I'm here to talk about, okay? But before we get started, bring out your phones and please either QR code this or go to menti.com and put that code in there. When you do that, you'll be able to follow my presentation, okay? So you'll have the slides. Listen, if you want to screen capture, do whatever you want to do. All I know is if you go and do presentation and I see my slides up there, I have AI that's crawling and it will find that material. So I'll give you 10 seconds to do this. It's very simple. Just QR code or put that up there, and then you'll be able to follow the slides, because I do have slides, okay? All right, let me get one person that says I'm in. Just one. You're in. So what's everybody else doing? Oh, there's a sign that tells me that people are coming in. You see, I'm a bushman. It's all good. All right. So I want to do something. It's actually one of the reasons why I'm putting you in Mentimeter. It's not just for you to have my slides, but we're going to start with an exercise, what we call a post-lunch exercise. So you're all going to dance. Look at people looking at me like, Chidi, not today. No worries. So I want you to do a mind exercise with me. Imagine that you have $100,000. Actually, no, you don't have $100,000. I have $100,000. I have a Naija Must Go bag full of $100,000, right? And I ask you to buy a car, that I'm going to help you buy a car. So the question then becomes, which one would you choose? Wait, though, did I ask you to? No, don't respond yet. Because these are your options. Option A is a $40,000 Honda Accord, fully equipped though, leather. It has the CD player, cassette player. It has the Gen Zs in the room. Did you get that joke or not? I guess not, right? But it's fully equipped, a Honda Accord, or a $995,000 AMG Mercedes-Benz. The one that, as we say in Igbo land, on a bamba, it barks when you're driving down the street. Okay? All right. So what you're going to do for me is choose between option A or option B. Don't tell me, just vote. Use your phones, please. Vote. Tell me which one you would choose right now. Go ahead. Wait, this is Niger. Honda is winning over the AMG. That is absolute nonsense. In this Niger? Oh, no. How many votes? 140 Guinea. 148. Okay, so 153. There's more people. Why are we always doing guy in this room? Vote now. The food wasn't that good that you can't even vote. All right, so let me see. 171. I'll say we have a quorum, yes? And most people will choose the Honda. Do I have any mics? Are there mics in the audience? I want to hear from somebody. The Honda chooser, just one person. Why did you choose Honda? Why did you choose Honda? Could you just repeat what you just said? Quickly.
Cost of maintenance, right? And we have bad roads, just considering like my environment.
Excuse me, if I can get your attention, please. I know this is an exercise. Cost of maintenance.
Yeah, and considering my environment, I live in Nigeria, potholes and all of that.
Potholes and all of that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Cost of maintenance. Let me get one more Honda. Honda. I see 61%. Honda. Okay, right here. Honda. Over there. If you're a Mercedes, get ready. Get ready.
Fuel is expensive.
Fuel is expensive. But not with the same fuel they use for the Honda. That's why your cars are all messed up. You're supposed to be putting high quality octane fuel. All right, let me get a Mercedes-Benz. One of the 40%. Oh, and she said, you know what? She actually said that she will get the Honda and then keep the change. Okay? All right, cool. Next person. My slides don't go.
Since we're all imagining, so I just went to the AMG.
No, imagine. I'm giving you the money.
Okay.
Don't imagine.
I will have gone for the Honda, a more realistic answer.
I need somebody who
I
really
want my light
would
to shine
get
up, right?
the Mercedes. No. See, people are telling me who to point at. I'm the one with the mic.
I just imagined I was rich when he gave me the Benz. So that's why I went for the Benz.
What did he say?
So I imagined I was rich when he gave me the money, so I just went for the Benz.
Okay, so you're going for the Benz. All right, very interesting. There is a catch. I wish we could do more, but there's a catch. Number one, when you buy the car, you must return the change to me. Oh yeah, just calm down. It's my money. Number two, you can't sell the car. So there are people, if you say I want to go and buy the Mercedes and then I'll sell the car and that's it. You can't do that. Okay? All right. So now that you know that, and I've given you the catch, let's vote again. Which car are you going to buy? Vote. Keep going. Blue, keep going now. So you see what's happened. There's been a switch. Once I made the conditions a little different, there's been a switch. Listen, this is an example. As product people, you have to think about the functional versus the emotional aspects of getting a product or using a product. The functional and emotional dimensions of a problem. The reason I bring this up is, so for instance, for the Honda, she said the roads here, right? I heard fuel is expensive. It's easier to maintain. There's more of a functional vibe there. This car gets me from one place to the other. If you are with your relative on the side of the street and your relative is passing out, would you see the Honda and say, I don't do Honda, just keep going? You're trying to go to the hospital. You say, Honda, keep going because I'm waiting for the AMG. You wouldn't do that, right? So there's a functional aspect to this car exercise. But don't underestimate the value of luxury. There's a reason why Balenciaga is so popular in Nigeria. Balenciaga is not popular because it's Balenciaga. No. What is it? Is Balance something else? Balenciaga. Balenciaga. I'm an Igbo man. And so Balenciaga is valued because of the status. That's emotional. It's a personal vibe. It also conveys a social vibe onto you. You walk into a room with your Balenciaga, people are like, no, that guy has a go. Actually, if you're a guy carrying Balenciaga, that's a big deal, right? So I just wanted to use that to start this conversation to say, as we think about nurturing talent, these are the kinds of mindsets that we work on. I'm a product coach. I'm a product consultant. I am a teacher, right? And there are hundreds of people. There may be thousands of product managers today who weren't product managers before they met me and they became product managers. And I take pride in that. And that's why we talk about nurturing product talent. So this is the conversation around functional versus emotional. Emotional being personal and social. So nurturing product in Africa is hard. It's a challenge, but we have to embrace this challenge. And that's what we're doing here. There's some of us who have done product and we've done it well. We've done it far and wide, right? But nurturing product talent in Africa is very important if this continent is going to produce the kinds of products that our people need. We have wicked problems on this continent. Wicked. I didn't say hard problems. I say wicked. You know the kind of problem you wake up in the morning and it's just looking at you on your bed like, nah, let's go. Those kind of wicked problems. And so we want to make sure that we are nurturing the talent, the product talent on the continent that's going to because that's going to attack those problems. Attack them with fervor, right? And with everything that we can find. I like to say that product management is an art, right? You want to appeal to people's senses of, this problem is being solved. I feel good. It's an art. There's a method. There's a way that we think about this, your intuition. But it's also a science, right? We talk about frameworks. We talk about analytics, data, experimentation, validation. That's all part of science. But I also use the language religion. When I was doing this, I said, you're coming to Nigeria using the language of religion. Chidi, be careful, right? But it's true. Religion, you have to be all about the mission and all about the vision. You have to believe in what's going on, in the products that you're working on, in the problems that you're trying to solve. I lost my last job in corporate America. I used to run the mobile product team for CNN. And I was fired from that job. I was called into a room, and 10 minutes later, I was out of the building. And the primary reason was because I was off mission. I didn't believe in what they were doing, because I had different ideas as to how they would solve the problem. And it didn't align with the mission of the company. I was out of a job. Okay? Doing products is hard, but on this continent, you people know. The product people in this room, am I lying? You are insane. You're a psycho for signing up to be a product manager. Not only actually Nigeria is like, I don't know what's wrong with you people, but Africa is insanity. We have limited resources. You want to build a product. You build a product in Nigeria. You want to launch in another country. We have 54 countries, 54 administrations, 54 policies when it comes to technology, 54 Ministry of ICTs. How hard is that? But I said it's insane. Doesn't mean that we won't do it. Okay. One of the challenges we have with talent, especially when you have limited resources, or when you have all these diverse markets, or if you have infrastructure issues, that we jump into solutions quickly. Mitchell talked about this earlier, right? This tendency for us to just go into solution mode. Yeah, I did market research. What's your market research? Usually, no be survey. You just throw a survey out there. Surveys are not good market research. You're supposed to go and touch the customer, live with the customer, embrace the customer. Move into their house if you can. If you can't, move outside and stay with them. See what challenges they're going through. Okay? You need to be clear on what the needs of the customers are. And that's who our talent, that's what our product talent should be doing. I didn't say this, but honestly, on the continent of Africa, I think I'm starting to own this statement. I've said this so many times. Fall in love with the problem. This is a mantra that you must keep in your head. Fall in love. Look, listen. Just see the problem, Get down on your knee. Propose to that problem. Just propose. If you're a woman, propose. If you're a man, propose to the problem. Marry the problem. Immerse yourself in the problem. Does anybody know who Tope Awotina is? Hands. Let me see hands. Tope Awotina. You don't know him. We tried to bring him here, Christian, right? Who uses Calendly? Okay, so let me give you a very quick story. So after I was fired from my job and I started teaching, started doing product management consulting and coaching, I was also building a company in Atlanta. And there's a place called the Atlanta Tech Village. And what they do is like a entrepreneurship hub. And so me and my team, there's 3 guys, we had space, and there was this guy who was sitting beside us. Just ordinary dude. And he said, yeah, Chidi, the problem that I'm trying to solve, that I'm obsessed with, is just schedules, right? Schedules is an issue. Dude, good luck. Gmail is Google's going to kill you. You don't know what you're talking about. If once they find out what you're doing, they're going to put the same features into their product, you're over. The guy's a billionaire today. When they say self-made billionaire, he is a self-made billionaire. Barely took any funding. He fell in love with the problem. He owned the problem. He became obsessed with the problem. And that's the kind of talent we need to have on this continent. Okay? People who fall in love with the problem. Okay? Very clear. If you're there solutioning, we're an AI, look, if you go to anybody's website, you see the first thing they say, we're an AI based. They're cheating on the problem. They're out there. Like the problem is back home and they are somewhere else, gallivanting with the solution. Okay? If you fall out of love with the problem, fall back in love with it. Bring yourself back to the problem. Okay? That's what we're trying to do when we talk about nurturing product talent. It's the kinds of folks who realize or who have the systems in place to say, you know what? We're talking too much about the solution. We need to get back to the basics of the problem. Stay in love with the problem. So, fall in love with the problem. You should find yourself cheating. If you're out there messing around, come back, fall back in love, and then stay in love with the problem. Solutions, you do realize solutions are easy. Solutions are a dime a dozen. In fact, today now, all you have to do is type it into ChatGPT. Give me 8 solutions to this problem, and you will have them. But really understanding the crux of a problem and getting to a place where you build the right solutions to the problem. Now that is the art of product management. That is the science of product management. That is when you are a true believer in product management. I also want to talk about this. This is a very controversial concept that's coming up lately, but I'm actually starting to buy into it. Product people, product market fit, right? That's at the core of what we do. The product needs to find a market and they fit. Once you have product market fit, you have traction, right? We get problem. You have a sizable audience, a sizable market, critical mass of customers, and then a viable solution. Yeah? But there's this concept of position market fit, where our goal is to actually become a part of the day-to-day of the customer, where they can't do without you, and they associate your product with the problem that you're trying to solve. When you talk about AI, what's the number one thing that comes to your head? The number one brand that comes to your head? ChatGPT. Did anybody say anything else? I didn't hear Gemini. Claude. Google. I know Abby is here, so let me know. Google, no. Microsoft. These guys are pumping money into AI, but the one brand is ChatGPT. You know why? Because they understand this. They have positioned themselves properly. This is what great product talent do. Okay? M-Pesa, right? So the thing about nurturing talent is that we need to make sure we are finding people who not only understand the local dynamics, who understand kind of the little intricacies. Let me give you an example. We use Google Maps, right, to drive. Oh yeah, you're going to go and see somebody. They give you an address. You plug into Google Maps and you go. How many times has Google Maps said, take a right? You're like, why would I take that right? Wait, you want me to go into that neighborhood? Absolutely not. Or you see traffic over there. How many times has Waze, there's traffic there, Waze to say, just go. And I'm looking at Waze like, no, I know this road better than you. So I go right. And then maybe I make it 30 seconds later or a minute later, but I make it with peace of mind. That's exactly what we do, right? As product people, you have to marry your gut instincts with the algorithms and with the frameworks and the science. It is important for us as product people to make sure that we don't lose sight of that. Don't let these Silicon Valley people, I don't mean Marty and Christian. These guys are paying me some money. Not enough, but some, right? So I don't mean Silicon Valley product group. I mean Silicon Valley. Don't let them come here and start telling us all kinds of stuff. We know what we know about Africa. Even also, we're diaspora. So even ourselves, we have to sit and just shut up and listen and watch. It's taken me a while. I've been doing this work on the continent since 2016. Okay? And it is important for us. Local context is key. The other thing about product talent is you have to be a fan of product management. You know, I want to be a product manager is one of the worst ways you can introduce yourself to me. Oh, Chidi, I want to be a product manager. Oh, really? Why? You know, I want to. Why? Because you looked at the salary list and product managers are right underneath software developers. Oh, is that where all the jobs are? No, you have to be a fanatic of product management. You have to be friends of the product people. You know, Marty Kagan is in this room. And listen, I wasn't going to call you out, Marty, but let me explain why I'm calling you out. You know, I started doing product way back in the day. And there were only not too many people you could look at and say, okay, these are folks who are giving you guidance. Marty Kagan was one of them. But I started doing product even before he wrote his book, 2008, I believe, 9, right? Before he wrote Inspired. If you haven't read Inspired, please pack your things and get out of this room. In fact, security, I bet, come and collect some people, right? Or there's an article called Good Product Manager, Bad Product Manager. The OGs are like, oh yeah, right? How many of you have read that article? Go and read that article. Good Product Manager, Bad Product Manager. Do you know when it was written? It was written in 2007 or maybe earlier by one of the top VCs in the world. His name is Ben Horowitz. Before, he used to be a head of product, head of technology, but now he's like a big guy. He wrote that article back in the day. That's how the fans back in my day were able to get some resources to help. Now you people have everything. You have Inspired, Empowered, you have Transformed. That's 3 books right there. Then you go and read, go to LinkedIn. I can't even look at my LinkedIn profile anymore because everybody's an expert. Even somebody that doesn't have a product management job, has never done product. You see them. You go to LinkedIn. What's happening? Oh, so if you want to build a product, what you want to do, this is 8 ways to build a product. You're reading it like ChatGPT. You can't even edit the thing. It's not a matter of being able to spout the stuff. It's you are hardcore. You are immersed in the art, science, and religion of product management. You have to be a fan. If you're not a fan, come off the road, I beg. So that the true fans can come in and do what we want to do. So I'd like to introduce something to you. There's this, I'm loving this logo here, Product Leadership Accelerator. This idea is the same way that we accelerate ventures. Techstars, YC. You remember when every Nigerian fintech, the only goal was to get into YC? Y Combinator. These are accelerators for ventures. Well, why can't we do that for product talent in Africa? That's the idea. We are looking for the unicorns, the product management unicorns. And no, not old guys like me. We don't all finish. We're too stubborn. You start teaching us, we try to teach you back, right? No, we're looking for young people who are just starting, but that have that mindset. You know, there's a mindset that's different about how they think about product. That's what we're doing with the PLA, the Product Leadership Accelerator. We're out there, we're going to look for the product. It's a Pan-African product. Nigerians in the room like, oh, Nigeria, we don't like. No. This is Pan-African. So you will compete, okay? And no, just because me and Christian are Nigeria doesn't mean that we're going to bias ourselves towards Nigeria, right? You still have to prove that you are that kind of talent. What we're going to do is we're going to bring some serious expertise, especially African expertise. In fact, when I was talking about be a fan of product management, you notice I mentioned names. Can you really name what I'll call a superstar African product leader? And when I say that, just give me a second. Someone who's out there, conferences, podcasts, books. Who? Chidi. Who is this Chidi guy? I need to meet him. Yeah? But the truth of the matter is we don't have them. And we're going to find, I'm sure there's some of them in the room as we're nurturing you guys. And that's what we're looking for. You go on Lenny. Is it just diaspora Africans that can speak? Right? You go on conferences. You're just calling the same names. No. We need to bring our talent up front and up close to the world because we're that good. And I've seen it myself. And I know it's in there too. We're going to bring that expertise to do this. We have very passionate people who are going to do, we have bold vision. You should see vision, no? You see vision, it's just popping, crackling to do this kind of work. That's what I was speaking about. We want to make sure that we have our legends. And the folks who are going to come before this cohort, fine. But our goal is that this cohort will produce legends of product management on the continent of Africa. As you know, we think about the product leadership accelerator. The design is to find and accelerate these product people, put them in situations where they are being given everything they need to hone the craft of being a product manager, a product leader, a product legend on the continent. We're bringing everything to force for this. So this is the announcement. Product Leadership Accelerator is launching next year, Q1. Applications will be coming out soon. The criteria is going to be very hectic, right? The same way we will do discovery for a product is the same way we're going to do discovery for our cohort. Okay, 6 months, 2 rotations through companies. Companies have to subscribe. So this is not company just come and pick you up. You don't have to pay for it, but companies have to subscribe to be part of this. Okay, and then product coaches like myself, Christian, and others. We will be working with these people to create these unicorns. Okay. So let's vote. How are you feeling about the accelerator? Just give me your words. Put a word in there. Just type it in. This is a word cloud. Are you feeling good? Do you feel intimidated? Are you excited? Or are you just like, this is nonsense? If I see nonsense out there, this thing tracks the people who said nonsense. I actually wrote an AI code that says, find whoever says nonsense. All right, let's see what you have. Super excited, curious, proud, good, psychotic. I know who you are. Where? Right there. Psychotic. I like you. I like you. Psychotic. What else do we have? Go, Chidi. We have your back. That's a good one. We dare your back. Okay, I like that. It's about time. Inspired, awesome, can't wait. Challenge. This is amazing. All right? And we're up to the challenge. Everybody in the room, even if you're not in the program, and it's more than likely that you won't, because this is not too many people. But even if you're not, this is a job that we're going to do together. Okay? So, thank you, everyone. And as also, listen, they said, who is the psycho? Who is the mumu that will go and do a presentation after lunch? And nobody raised their hand. And then Christian was like, Chidi, go and do it. And I said, Christian, God will, you know what? Fine, I'll do it. And so here we are. So thank you very much. And let's have a good conference. Thank you.